I see you lost inside your circumstance, and I see you looking for a chance to dance, and it seems to me the world's a better place because of you. You were made to shine just like the stars above, and I know you are made for love and to be loved, and it seems to me the world's a better place because of you. Oh, why do we see one another and compare our lives together, thinking that the greener grass is anywhere but here? Shine, shine, set your eyes on things above now. Shine, shine, you are someone made for love now. Shine, shine, join in the applause of love and shine. Ain't it grand? Life is so worth celebrating. Hand in hand, live a life worth imitating. Sing along, the world's a better place because of you.
I'm Tina Lipsky, and I just want to give a testimonial. John Morgan's book, War on Fear, changed my life significantly. Last year I was at Free the Dream, and he gave a talk, and I was robbed at gunpoint 15 years ago, and I carried that fear with me for 15 years. And at Free the Dream, after hearing him speak, I realized that it was time to let that fear go. And a small thing that is small to some people, but to me it was significant. I never took the trash out at night because I was so afraid of being in the dark. And when I got home from Free the Dream and after reading John's book, I now take out the trash every single week at night on purpose so that I can conquer that fear. And so I encourage all of you to read his book, and any fear that you're hanging on to, let it go. It's not worth it. Don't give it the power. And when I got home from Free the Dream and after reading John's book, I now take out the trash every week.
Well, I'm the free world leader.
So that I can conquer that fear.
Freedom's rolling out to you.
Don't give it the power.
Good news instigator, compassionate conversator. This freedom is rocking and rolling on out to you.
Howdy, 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 folks. Welcome to the John Morgan Show. I am honored to be with you on this hump day, this Wednesday afternoon, for a few minutes of humor, passion, and perspective as we consider our world.
Howdy, howdy,
Happy
howdy,
98. Welcome to the John Morgan Show. Day after tomorrow, folks. Day after tomorrow. Hump day, this Wednesday afternoon, for a few minutes will be show number 100. Passion and perspective as we consider our world. Happy 98. Oh, it's good to see everybody.
Day
I
after
appreciate
tomorrow,
you so
folks.
much.
Day
Appreciate the
after
opportunity
tomorrow.
to hang out with you. And I'm always looking for ways to expand,
show
and
number
improve,
100.
and change the John Morgan Show so that it serves you, the watchers and listeners and participators, in a better way. So, I would like to add a feature starting today, a little bit of Q&A. So, what I'm going to plan on doing is ending the show a little bit sooner than previously I had, and then taking a look through the comments and any questions that you have for me, based on anything we're talking about, based on anything that we have ever talked about. Go ahead and type them into the chat box, and we can well, we can chat about them. And I see already Karen Sue Bailey Vance, the four-named woman. You're a character on the show from up there in Ohio. PK Long, welcome. I see you just popped in. That's fantastic. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the John Morgan Show. I appreciate you stopping in and coming along for the ride. Love to know where you've been golfing lately and what's going on in your life. And then we're going to talk a little bit about fear today. You know, I've been trying to figure out how I can expand the show and make it more valuable. And I keep hearing that there is an epidemic, a pandemic, and not COVID-19, a pandemic of fear in our society. And so Karen Sue, you are definitely a character. It just popped up. It pops up. Expand the show and make it you folks will see it. You will hear me respond to what pops up on my screen after a short delay of when it pops up, because there's a delay between when I speak and when you actually see it. As a matter of fact, I'm looking over at my Facebook post right now, and it's still in pre-show mode. What is it doing in pre-show mode? Oh, no, it's not. There's a delay between when I speak. What is going on? Oh, sometimes you just have to refresh your screen when you actually see it. As a matter of fact, I'm looking over now I can't find anything. Facebook post right now, and it's still... Well, the nice thing about imperfection is you have an excuse. Oh, I see what I did. Well, okay. The nice thing about never mind. Life is weird, but we'll make it through. So, what have you guys been up to? Feel free to share a little in the chat box. Okay. And never mind. I wanted to see if I could share a page from my Facebook, a memory of. Oh no! Now it's gone. What have you guys been up to? Feel free to. You know, this is going to be one of those shows. Hey, darling.
You have an echo.
I have an echo. My wife said I have an echo.
I wanted to see if I could share a page. It went away.
It went away as soon as she said I had an echo. It went away. Shelley, good to see you. Howdy, howdy.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. There we go. So anyway, it's good to be here. You know, I want to confess to you guys that I'm in a little bit of a need of prayer. I want to be authentic always on this show, and so how about let's have a little moment of prayer as we start off the show. Lord, thanks for the opportunity, the privilege of serving my wonderful friends here. And I ask, dear God, that you will help me to serve them well. In your name I pray. Amen. So what I was thinking of doing is basically what happened is I watched a podcast earlier today of a guy who has a Facebook Live show, and then he takes some of the content from the Facebook Live show and turns that into a podcast. And then he has somebody else take the content of the podcast and turn it into a blog. And all of a sudden, he's all over the map by simply doing one show. And that's just had my mind going kind of 1,000 different directions today, trying to figure out how I can serve you guys better. But in the process, I hadn't really thought much about what we're going to share today. Other than this, I did want to talk about 3 ways that you can avoid fear. 3 ways that you can keep fear from eating your lunch. You know, all the commentators are telling you there's a pandemic of fear out there. And of course, in so doing, they're feeding everyone's sense of fear. You know, my desire is to help everybody rise above fear, to live over the fear that we are hit with, and to conquer it, and to be its Lord rather than it lording over you. And so I had 3 simple thoughts on how you can overcome fear. But do me a favor, help me out. Let's have a little interaction here. If you will, share with me in the chat box some simple things that scare you, that keep you up at night, or that make it something that you ponder, that you wish you could get out of your mind. And we'll talk about those. But Billy, welcome to the show. Oh my goodness. Billy Skadlock is perhaps the absolute best. I forget the character's name, Billy. Who is he? The little guy from the old black and white days with the thin mustache, and he had the hat. The hat would come off. Oh man, Billy, you're the best at it. Yeah, I'm sure you'll tell me who it is in just a second. Having a brain meltdown here, but 3 ways that I think I can serve you in combating fear or keeping fear at bay is contentment, commitment, and contemplation. I had to make it kind of limericky. So contentment. People spend so much time considering, Mark, oh my goodness. Thank you, Laurel and Hardy. Yes, very true. Yes. Ollie. Yes, Billy Skadlock is one of the greatest Laurel impersonators ever. And he's also a phenomenal mime at the same time. Of course, wordless. Yes, okay, going back to overcoming fear, contentment. Think about this, folks. One of the biggest things that causes us to be afraid is fear of not having enough. In other words, insecurity. We worry about not being cared for, maybe in our old age or even next week. And as a result of that, we spend time thinking about all the things that we wish we had that we don't have. We can easily spend time comparing ourselves to others, comparing our houses to the houses of others, comparing our incomes to the incomes of others, comparing notoriety. There's tons of things with which we can compare our lives to others. And now, of course, because of Facebook and YouTube and, Twitter and Instagram, we have a window into the lives of other people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And all we have to do is pick up our phones and we can know what other people are doing, what they're, But here's the thing. People usually don't post. Some do, but people don't usually post when they're having a crappy day. They don't usually post pictures of themselves, okay, right when they wake up out of bed. People post the best of their lives. And so nobody's life is at its best at all times. That's number one. So we have to discount what we see online because it's not reality. It's a window into something else. But then also the folks that you see online and that you see on Netflix, Housewives of Atlanta and all of these things, they're not you. They weren't knit together in your mother's womb to be you. There's only one you. And God knows what will make you happiest. He knows what will make you content. And He also knows the things that could draw you away into oblivion. And contentment is a sense of being okay right where you are. Having a sense of joy right where you are. Because where you are is exactly where you ought to be. I remember a moment when I was standing backstage at a comedy club, wishing the floor would open up and swallow me because I was scared to death. I was getting ready to step into an audience that, I didn't know them, and it was just nerve-wracking. Some people are born to do certain things. I at that point did not believe that I was born to perform at comedy clubs, but there I was, and I was struggling in that moment. Struggling because I was thinking about the future, the unwritten future. Yes, 5 minutes into the future, but still, the unwritten future. What if I bomb? What if I say something that ticks everybody off? And in that moment, I had a visitation from the Lord. It was cool. I didn't go into a trance or step out of my body or see something that wasn't there, but I had a thought from the divine. And God spoke to me in that moment and said, "Would you like my perspective?" And I said, "Absolutely, I would." And he said to me, "In all of time and eternity," oh man, it's like I'm hearing it again right now. "You are in the exact right place and the exact right time." And that just meant the world to me because it set all of my what ifs silent. And I knew I was going to be, okay, Dee, you're there. Did you get dried off? You were out swimming a little while ago, and wait, I can't read what you're saying. Wow, John, I just read a little booklet, My Daily Bread, called Comparison, that talked about everything you were speaking about today. I love timing like that. I love when that kind of stuff happens. That is the coolest thing ever. But yes, be content with what you have. Definitely be content with who you are. God made you. And to complain about these things is really unwise because bigger hands than ours put us where we are. And our job is to bask in the goodness that we've been given. And I remember hearing a story of a woman who, because of a disease, like half her face was missing. I mean, it's hard to imagine, but the person that was telling the story went in and visited this woman and was completely undone by the fact that this woman kept talking about how good God was and how grateful she was to be alive and to know Him, knowing about her future in heaven, and that with what little she could smile with, she smiled. And the person that told the story said, if that woman in her pain and suffering can be content, then surely I can be content. But in order to be content, you have to contemplate that contentment, right? You have to choose to dismiss the jealousy, the comparison, the discontentment, the, what's the word I'm looking for? Covetousness. When you want something you can't have or that you can't get, it just creates fear because there's a lie associated with it. The lie says, if I don't get it, I'm no good. If I don't achieve it, I am worthless. And folks, the joy of the Lord is your strength. And hey, I'm sitting here right now. I'm not the king of the financial world by any stretch of the imagination, but I have such joy because I am content with what I have. Yes, I want to strive for more, of course. I want to work hard and, earn a secure living so that I can retire without a care in the world. But in the meantime, I don't have a care in the world because I have contentment. That's number one. Number two, commitment. Commitment. Yes, committing how you're going to use your time, or better said, committing how you're not going to use your time. Listen, I love Rush Limbaugh as good as any guy on the planet. I don't know how much the ladies like Rush. I know a lot of ladies that just absolutely adore him. But Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, and all the conservative talk show hosts on Fox News, Glenn Beck, all those guys, they're great. And I get tons of information from them. But I have to be committed to not focusing too much on the things that they say, or I can be completely snatched into a sense of total fear for our future as a country. And so I want to commit myself, and have committed myself, to limiting the amount of time that I expose to things that create fear. And typically, it's the news. Typically, people who create news know that their future depends on our addiction to their shows. And what causes the addiction to those shows? You got it. Fear. Fear, F-E-A-R. And, what does it say in the Word? Be anxious for nothing. What? Be anxious for nothing. Nothing. And, you can look that up in the Greek, and you're going to find that nothing means literally nothing. And so if we are anxious, if we find ourselves filled with anxiety, then something's wrong. And typically it's because we are spending too much time focusing on things that are scary. Okay? If you watch footage of the horrific things that are happening in 4 major cities and skirmishes of it in a few other major cities in our nation, okay, you will be scared out of your mind, okay? But think about how many cities there are in America, all right? This unrest that you see, civil unrest, yeah, it's something that needs to be addressed, okay? There are some needs, some wants. People are shooting unsuspecting people. People are raising awareness of things that they want to see changed. And sure, we definitely want to address those things because there are inequities in our world, and we are responsible to play a role. Not everybody is. I'm a voice. I'm responsible to speak on certain issues. It's part of my job. But for the most part, Americans' job is to be an American, to live a peaceful life, raise their families, and share truth with your families and friends. Talk about these things. For sure, vote on November 3rd. Absolutely. And that's pretty much where our responsibility ends, folks. If you have a chance, if you have a pulpit, if you have a megaphone, use it. Use it to tell the truth. But for the most part, our job is to live our lives in peace and joy, to participate, in your sphere of influence, and then enjoy your life. There. Doesn't that feel better? So do your part by limiting the amount of exposure that you have to things that make you afraid. And increase, conversely, the amount of time that you expose yourself to the truths found in the Bible. Netflix is under fire right now because they're putting kiddie porn, basically, on their network, and it's just horrific. But they also have, for those of you that don't choose to unsubscribe to them, really good Christian content that's very encouraging and very helpful. Make the positive choice to expose yourself to those things, and you will be filled with hope. You will be filled with joy. And keep in mind, we're not the first generation to go through unrest. Hey, what did Jesus say? In the world you'll have what? Somebody help me. Tribulation. And then his next phrase blows my mind. Be of good cheer. What? In the world you'll have tribulation. Be of good cheer. Wait a minute. That's an incomplete equation. Oh, there's more. Yes, the last phrase of that sentence ties it all up with a beautiful red bow and helps us all to sleep at night. For I have overcome the world. Yes, nothing happening escapes his notice. Nothing going on is going on apart from him. And we have the privilege of prayer. We have the privilege of coming to him. In fact, he said, let me know what you need. Tell me, talk to me. You know, he's our dad. You know, when we're little kids, we tell our dad without even a second thought what we want over and over and over again until we get it. God says, do the same with me. Let me know. So, contentment, being content. Commitment, committing ourselves to what we're going to be exposing ourselves to. What'd you say there, D? When we fill our joy capacity in the prefrontal cortex, we will beat the amygdala that causes us to fear. Wow, that's some heady stuff there, D. Very true, very true. You learn all about that in War on Fear. Yep, right up here is where we have to consider these things and weigh them out and make wise decisions and choices so that fight or flight, which happens back here, doesn't eat our lunch each and every day. And then the third one is contemplation. Contentment, commitment, contemplation. Now, what we are to contemplate is all of the good that God has done for us, all the good that he has given to us, and all of the peace and truth and love that has been promised to us. And when we contemplate those things and live in connection with the Lord, in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, you got to check this out. You know, I talked the other day about John 10:10. I did that because I woke up late, and normally I do my morning prayer time at 14 minutes at 7 a.m., and I call it 7:14 Prayer for America because it's based on 2 Chronicles 7:14. But I overslept, so instead we had 10 minutes at 10 o'clock based on John chapter 10, verse 10. The thief comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but I have come that they might have life and have it to the full. Now, isn't that black and white? Isn't that amazing? I mean, you get to choose. Which one of those would you rather dwell on? Which one of those would you rather have as your paradigm, your operating system? The thief coming to kill, steal, and destroy? Because he is. It's right there in the Word. I mean, we know it. We see it out there, and that's what's happening. Or, I have come that they might have life and have it to the full. To the full, folks. Yeah, baby. That's it. Contemplate that. And contemplate John chapter 15, where Jesus said, I am the vine. You are the branch. Any branch that remains in me will bear fruit. So remain in him. Remain in his word. Hang out with him in prayer. You know, I try to stay connected to the Lord all day long. I mean, I don't pray all day long continually like every single solitary moment of my day, but there's a sense in my heart of connection, and you want to try to maintain that. And if you're disconnected, you know, talk to me about that. Let's put a little something in the chat, and let's chat about it. In fact, I didn't realize it was 5:29. This time is just zipped by. So let's now move to Q&A. So for the next couple of minutes, if you have any questions, and I'll just pop some of these. Let's see here. D. Suddenly I feel better. Beautiful, brother. That's precious. So any thoughts on all of this? Carol, welcome. Oh, thank you. Yes, absolutely. The things that we think about, the things that we contemplate, and the things that make us content. You're still all wet, D. That's funny. So good. Welcome. Oh, Mark. Okay, Mark Stidham. That's so great to see you, sir. It's been so long. An old friend from way, way back. Glad to see you on the show. Mark, is this your first time commenting on the show? Is this your first time on the show? Are you still there? I don't know. People pop in, they pop out. I never know if, how long people stay with me. But if there are any questions, I'm open to chatting about them. And if not, we can call it a day. But I have decided that for anybody who's interested in coming on the show live, that I'd like to invite you all to send me your email address, and I will send you an invite. And if I get more than 2 or 3 or 4 of you, then we will do a Zoom call. If not, we'll just have a regular show, and it'll be fun. And I'll have a glass of wine sitting right here because I'll consider it a party. I'll have some cheese and crackers. I'll have Kathy pop in on the show. But I'd love to have all of you guys on the show as well. Okay, Dee, thank you. What did you say here? My whole life changed when I quit comparing my artwork, my possessions, and my income with others. I never felt so much joy. Yes, so true. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that comment. That is absolutely, it's so true. We can be so happy, and we don't have to have anything. We don't have to have much at all, and we can be so content. And that's the joy. Celebrate you, my friends. Celebrating you. That's what the John Morgan Show is all about. Celebrating each and every one of you, because you are the best you that there is. And you can simply improve by focusing on the now, focusing on the present. I used to really, really bang my head around in the past, and it just made me discontent. And you can also bang your head around in an unwritten future by thinking thoughts that start with what if. Not helpful. And we'll talk about that on a future show. But for now, y'all have a great dinner. Have a great evening. I have nothing but love for you. I'm so thankful that PJ showed up, that Mark showed up, some new guests, and I'm sure there's a lot of other folks that haven't chimed in that are watching, and welcome to all of you. God bless you. And Dee, give me a call, and let's talk about Friday and see how we can maximize the enjoyment of that awesome, awesome Friday show. The 100th episode, I can hardly believe it, of the John Morgan Show. God bless you, and God bless America.
Hey, this is Al Robertson from Duck Dynasty and Duck Commander. I want to tell you about a great book called War on Fear from my good buddy, John Morgan. Of course, he looks like George W. Bush, who had the famous War on Terror, so I immediately knew, there was a nice a bit of wordplay there. This book is fantastic. I think it speaks to sort of that natural fear that all of us have, whether it's public speaking, or whether it's the first time you get asked to do something you've never done before, up to, you know, the fear of loss of life, of a sick person in your family, all the things that we face every single day. I recommend this highly. I promise you will be blessed when you read this book, and it's the sort of book that after you read it, you're going to want to pass that on to someone else, which to me are the best kind of books. So War on Fear, get yours as soon as you can.
Well, I'm the free world leader. Freedom's rolling out to you.
Wow, wow, wow.
Oh, let's roll. Well, I'm the good news instigator, compassionate conversator. This freedom is rocking and rolling on after you. White and blue.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the John Morgan Show. Just want to remind you to pray for my sister Janice, for our dear friend Diane on the show, and for my friends Joel and Trace. Love you all so much. God bless you. And God bless America.